And over here is the Rosetta Stone. It was the key to understanding Egyptian hieroglyphics, and it is one of the most precious and valuable treasures of the British Museum.
For centuries, the Rosetta Stone has fascinated scholars, historians, and cryptographers alike. Carved in 196 BC, this ancient slab of granodiorite held the key to understanding Egyptian hieroglyphs, a linguistic bridge that transformed the study of ancient civilizations. Now, in an age where artificial intelligence can process patterns faster and more intricately than any human mind, researchers have revisited the Rosetta Stone with a new tool. AI's algorithms, trained to detect subtle patterns across massive datasets, have started to reveal anomalies that no human eye ever noticed. Could the Rosetta Stone, long hailed as the ultimate key to ancient knowledge, still contain secrets humanity has never comprehended? And if so, what might AI uncover that could rewrite history itself? Stay with us as we find out. The Rosetta Stone was discovered in 1799, buried in the sands of Egypt during Napoleon's campaign.
Napoleon's army was campaigning in Egypt at the end of the 18th century, but it was not going particularly well.
It immediately captured the imagination of scholars, not just because it carried the same text in 3 scripts, Greek, Demotic, and hieroglyphs, but because it offered a rare chance to decode the inscrutable language of the pharaohs. Linguists such as Jean-François Champollion dedicated years to deciphering it, finally unlocking hieroglyphic meaning. Yet, for all the breakthroughs, subtle patterns eluded even the most brilliant minds. Ancient scribes had a habit of embedding repetition, symmetry, and anomalies in their inscriptions, elements that were visible but meaningless to traditional analysis. For centuries, these features were dismissed as mere stylistic flourishes or copying errors. But the Rosetta Stone was more than a translation tool. It was a cipher waiting to be understood on a deeper level. Enter AI. Unlike humans, algorithms can parse enormous amounts of textual and structural data, detecting minute patterns across languages and time. When researchers fed the Rosetta Stone into advanced neural networks, the results were startling. Hidden relationships between hieroglyphs and underlying linguistic rules emerged, patterns too subtle and complex for conventional analysis. Suddenly, the stone wasn't just a key to translation. It was a puzzle layered with information designed to survive millennia. Some of the hieroglyphs, previously thought to be redundant or ornamental, revealed consistent positional structures. Others, when compared with the Greek text, suggested alternate readings, subtle linguistic nuances that could change interpretations of known phrases. The AI began mapping relationships, probabilities, and sequences that exposed the meticulous planning of ancient scribes, hinting at a sophistication far beyond previous scholarly assumptions. For the first time, the Rosetta Stone was no longer merely a historical artifact. It became an active code waiting to be unlocked by technology. The AI's findings suggested that centuries of study had barely scratched the surface, and that ancient Egyptian scribes might have encoded ideas and knowledge far more advanced than historians ever imagined. When AI first analyzed the Rosetta Stone, the results were subtle but intriguing. Algorithms detected sequences of symbols whose positions and frequencies didn't align with known grammatical patterns. At first, these anomalies were thought to be statistical noise, but as the AI processed additional hieroglyphic texts, the same patterns emerged, suggesting intentional placement and purpose. Researchers quickly realized the AI was uncovering a secondary layer of communication. This was not visible to the human eye, buried beneath the conventional text. Some symbols appeared to act as markers, connecting phrases in ways that suggested contextual emphasis, hidden storytelling, or even encoded knowledge about Egyptian rituals and governance. The machine learning models began correlating these patterns with astronomical records, calendars, and even early mathematical concepts used by the Egyptians. Remarkably, AI could detect alignments with celestial events, hinting that the scribes might have embedded cosmic knowledge within the inscriptions. Such findings suggest that the Rosetta Stone may have been designed not only as a political decree, but as a multi-dimensional record, encoding both language and scientific observation. Even among seasoned Egyptologists, reactions ranged from cautious excitement to disbelief. The AI wasn't replacing human interpretation, it was augmenting it, revealing structures and relationships no human could process unaided. What had once been dismissed as decorative flourishes now appeared as deliberate, meaningful patterns, each layer adding complexity to our understanding of the text. The implications were staggering. If AI could reveal this secondary layer in a single artifact, what might it uncover in other ancient texts waiting to be analyzed? Was it possible that humanity had been reading history at only a surface level? missing vast reservoirs of knowledge encoded in symbols and inscriptions for millennia? And if the Rosetta Stone itself contained such hidden knowledge, what could it teach us about the minds of the ancient Egyptians and about ourselves? As AI continued to analyze the Rosetta Stone, previously invisible patterns began to emerge, reshaping our understanding of the artifact entirely. What had long been considered static inscriptions, mere translations of decrees and ceremonial proclamations, suddenly displayed an intricate, deliberate structure. Neural networks traced recurring motifs, positional relationships, and subtle frequency shifts that suggested the stone contained a layered communication system far more sophisticated than anyone had imagined. Historians had long assumed that the hieroglyphs were purely linguistic representations, but AI revealed hidden sequences that didn't correspond directly to conventional translations. Certain symbols, when repeated in specific patterns, seemed to function as markers for meaning beyond the surface text. Others appeared to encode temporal or astronomical information, aligning with celestial cycles such as the rising of Sirius, the phases of the moon, and the annual flooding of the Nile. These correlations suggested the ancient Egyptians had used the Rosetta Stone not merely to convey administrative decrees, but to encode a multidimensional record of their world, astronomical, cultural, and perhaps even philosophical. The discovery of these embedded patterns raised profound questions about the scribes' intentions. Were they deliberately hiding knowledge for future generations, or was this an advanced mnemonic system, a method for preserving complex cultural and scientific knowledge in a single artifact? AI provided insights that no human could derive manually, processing millions of possible combinations and highlighting correlations that had been invisible for centuries. Some patterns were astonishingly consistent. Symbols that appeared ornamental at first glance revealed structural significance when analyzed across multiple layers of text. They formed repeating sequences, almost like musical motifs, that carried meaning not just in isolation, but in context with surrounding inscriptions. The AI detected statistical regularities across different lines, demonstrating a sophisticated knowledge of probability and combinatorics embedded in the stone itself. These findings have sent shockwaves through the academic community. Linguists, Egyptologists, and computational historians are now forced to reconsider assumptions long held sacred. If the Rosetta Stone carries hidden layers of encoded knowledge.
But first off, we've all heard the name Rosetta Stone, but what exactly is it?
What else might lie undiscovered in other ancient artifacts? Could entire civilizations' knowledge be waiting silently in plain sight, interpretable only through advanced computational tools? Most importantly, the pattern suggests that the ancient Egyptians possessed a conceptual framework for encoding knowledge that rivals modern cryptography. The AI has not only unlocked part of the Rosetta Stone's secret, but also demonstrated that human analysis alone may never have been sufficient to reveal the full complexity of this artifact. Each discovery peels back a layer of history, revealing minds far more advanced and methodical than previously imagined. And if such knowledge was deliberately hidden, the next question becomes inevitable. What message were the Egyptians trying to preserve for the future? And are we finally ready to understand it? The deeper AI delved into the Rosetta Stone, the more its findings began to challenge long-held historical assumptions. For centuries, the stone was viewed primarily as a linguistic tool, a bridge allowing scholars to translate Egyptian hieroglyphs into Greek and, by extension, modern languages. But AI's analysis suggests the artifact may have been designed for a far broader purpose, an intentional archive of cultural, scientific, and even esoteric knowledge. Researchers discovered sequences of symbols that appeared to encode mathematical principles. Hieroglyphs were arranged in ways that correlate with prime numbers, geometric ratios, and numerical patterns corresponding to astronomical cycles. These are not errors or coincidences. The precision indicates deliberate planning. The ancient Egyptians, long celebrated for their architectural and engineering achievements, may have embedded a sophisticated understanding of mathematics directly into the text. Even more startling were linguistic anomalies. Certain words and symbols, previously translated as routine, were revealed by AI to have dual meanings depending on context and placement. These alternative interpretations dramatically shift our understanding of historical records, suggesting that some statements on governance, religious practice, or cosmology were carefully encoded to be comprehensible only to initiated readers. In other words, the stone might have served as both a public document and a secret teaching tool. The implications are profound. If the Rosetta Stone contains knowledge that has been hidden in plain sight for over 2 millennia, then the timeline of human intellectual achievement may require re-evaluation. Ancient civilizations may have possessed conceptual sophistication previously thought impossible, encoded in ways we are only now beginning to decipher. AI has, for the first time, made visible the depth and intentionality of these inscriptions. Historians now face a difficult choice: reinterpret the entire context of Egyptian civilization based on AI-driven insights, or dismiss the findings as anomalies of pattern recognition. But the correlations are consistent, precise, and reproducible, too substantial to ignore. If validated, this discovery forces a reconsideration of what we know about ancient knowledge, literacy, and scientific sophistication. Moreover, the Rosetta Stone may not be unique. AI analysis opens the possibility that countless artifacts around the world contain similar hidden structures, waiting for technology to reveal them. The question now is not just what the Egyptians knew, but how much of human history has been encoded in ways we are only now equipped to understand. The Rosetta Stone was only the beginning. Once AI demonstrated its ability to detect hidden patterns in the stone, researchers began applying the same algorithms to other Egyptian papyri, and the results were astonishing. What had once been considered fragmented, mundane records of taxation, trade, or ritual were now revealing underlying structures that suggested intentional encoding of far more complex knowledge. Previously overlooked symbols, variations in glyph spacing, and subtle line breaks were found to follow mathematical and linguistic rules. These features appeared across multiple papyri, suggesting that scribes had deliberately embedded a system of cross-references and mnemonic devices. In other words, the Egyptians were not merely recording events, they were creating a networked archive of information that could be interpreted across documents. One remarkable finding concerned astronomical observations. Symbols representing celestial bodies were interspersed within seemingly ordinary texts, and AI detected patterns aligning with the lunar calendar, solstices, and even eclipses. The texts, long assumed to be simple administrative records, were functioning simultaneously as calendars and guides for ritual observances, with precise timing embedded in the script itself. This dual purpose had eluded human scholars for centuries. Additionally, AI revealed evidence of semantic layering. A single hieroglyph could convey multiple meanings depending on its spatial context and its relationship to neighboring symbols. For example, a symbol traditionally interpreted as a house or temple could also indicate time, quantity, or abstract philosophical concepts when analyzed within these hidden structures. This suggested that Egyptian scribes had developed a sophisticated system of multi-dimensional writing, one designed to encode far more than literal meaning. Even more fascinating were repeated patterns that spanned different papyri, pointing to a shared system of knowledge maintained by scribal schools. AI could trace these motifs across hundreds of documents, showing that the ancients were using standardized structures to preserve science, ritual, and perhaps even proto-philosophical ideas. The cumulative effect was staggering. AI was revealing that the Egyptians had created a highly organized, durable system of encoded information that survived millennia, waiting for modern technology to decipher it. For historians and linguists, these revelations pose profound questions. Were the ancients deliberately obscuring knowledge from the uninitiated, preserving secrets only accessible to a trained few? And if so, how much more of human history remains hidden in plain sight, encrypted in ways we are only now beginning to perceive? The AI discoveries on these papyri suggest that our understanding of Egyptian civilization, and perhaps the origins of written knowledge itself, is far less complete than previously believed. Humanity may be only scratching the surface of what the ancients intended to convey. When the results of AI analyses were first presented to Egyptologists, linguists, and historians, reactions ranged from cautious curiosity to outright disbelief. Scholars had long believed that all significant information had been extracted from the Rosetta Stone and related papyri. The notion that artificial intelligence could uncover entirely new layers of meaning was unprecedented. At the core of the surprise was the sheer complexity of the patterns. AI identified cross-document relationships, dual-meaning glyphs, and encoded numerical sequences that no human could have recognized unaided. Hieroglyphs previously dismissed as ornamental were shown to serve structural or symbolic functions, altering the interpretation of entire passages. Traditional translation methods, scholars realized, had only revealed surface-level content. The implications extend far beyond linguistics. Astronomers and mathematicians collaborating with Egyptologists noted that many of the hidden sequences corresponded with precise celestial observations, cycles, and mathematical constants. The ancient Egyptians may have intentionally encoded their scientific knowledge into ceremonial and administrative texts, a level of sophistication previously thought impossible for the era. Even senior historians admitted the findings were unsettling. AI had provided evidence that entire aspects of Egyptian intellectual achievement had been overlooked, from advanced numeric systems to multidimensional writing strategies. For centuries, humanity had interpreted these ancient texts linearly. Now, patterns suggested a layered, multidimensional approach to information. The academic community was forced to confront an uncomfortable truth. The technologies and analytical methods of the past, no matter how rigorous, had been insufficient to fully understand the sophistication of ancient civilizations. Scholars began revising models of Egyptian writing, education, and knowledge dissemination in light of AI's revelations. Critically, these discoveries raise broader philosophical questions about human knowledge. If AI can uncover hidden intelligence in texts centuries old, what other secrets are encoded in human history, waiting for the right tools to reveal them? Are we only beginning to understand the depths of human ingenuity, or merely scratching at its surface? The shock is not merely historical, it is epistemological. For experts and enthusiasts alike, AI has opened a door to a hidden world of information, demonstrating that humanity's past may have been far richer and more intricate than anyone ever imagined. As AI's analysis of the Rosetta Stone and related papyri deepened, a startling revelation emerged. The inscriptions contained what appeared to be a deliberate, encoded message, something entirely separate from the surface translations. Unlike the ordinary proclamations, rituals, or historical records that had dominated scholarship for centuries, this message was abstract, layered, and strikingly sophisticated. The algorithms detected sequences of symbols whose arrangement suggested intentional emphasis, repetition, and symmetry beyond linguistic necessity. When interpreted according to the AI's multidimensional model, these patterns formed a coherent narrative that spoke of philosophical principles, cosmological observations, and perhaps even ethical instructions. It was as if the scribes had left a message specifically designed to endure millennia, accessible only to those or something capable of recognizing its hidden structure. What made this discovery so extraordinary was its universality. The encoded message did not simply recount events or honor rulers, it seemed to convey knowledge about the nature of the universe itself. Some sequences referenced cycles of celestial bodies, equinoxes, and lunar phases with remarkable precision, indicating a sophisticated awareness of astronomy. Others embedded numeric relationships and geometric ratios consistent with early mathematical reasoning, suggesting that the Egyptians had developed tools for representing abstract concepts through symbolic language. Experts struggled to interpret the implications. Could it be that the ancient scribes anticipated that future generations would develop tools capable of decoding their work? The AI's findings suggest exactly that. The message was designed to be partially obscured, accessible only to advanced analytical methods or highly trained minds. In essence, the Rosetta Stone may have functioned not merely as a translation key, but as a timeless repository of wisdom. Even more compelling were the recurring motifs identified by the AI, symbols repeated in precise ratios, hieroglyphs interlaced with seemingly decorative flourishes, and structural anomalies all pointed to intentional encoding. This was not accidental, it was the product of meticulous planning, requiring both advanced literacy and conceptual vision. The discovery leaves historians grappling with profound questions. Did the Egyptians intentionally hide knowledge for posterity? Was this message meant to survive intact for thousands of years, waiting for AI or a future civilization to understand it fully? And if so, what does it say about the intentions, intelligence, and foresight of a culture that thrived over 2 millennia ago? For the first time, the Rosetta Stone was no longer merely a linguistic artifact. It was a bridge to hidden knowledge, a puzzle designed to challenge the very boundaries of human understanding. The hidden message uncovered by AI is more than an academic curiosity. It forces a fundamental reevaluation of language, knowledge preservation, and the sophistication of ancient civilizations. For centuries, linguists approached Egyptian hieroglyphs as static symbols, reducible to literal meaning. Now, evidence suggests that these symbols functioned on multiple levels simultaneously, conveying practical, symbolic, and encoded information in one coherent system.
Egypt, and they discovered the Rosetta Stone. And when the British beat Napoleon, they took the material that he had collected
This multi-dimensional approach has profound implications for how we understand written communication. Language was not merely a tool for day-to-day administration or storytelling, it was a medium for encoding knowledge across space and time. The Egyptians may have designed their scripts to carry layered meaning intentionally, anticipating that only future generations or highly advanced analytical tools could fully decipher them. The implications extend to other civilizations as well. If AI can uncover hidden structures in the Rosetta Stone, similar techniques applied to Mesopotamian cuneiform, Mayan codices, or Indus Valley inscriptions may reveal previously invisible knowledge. Ancient writing systems may have been far more sophisticated than previously thought, designed to preserve philosophy, science, and culture in ways human scholars alone could not fully interpret. Moreover, this discovery challenges assumptions about human intellectual progress. The abstract reasoning, mathematical understanding, and systemic foresight demonstrated by the Rosetta Stone's hidden layers suggest that ancient societies may have reached cognitive and analytical heights comparable to modern civilization. It reframes our perception of history, showing that advanced knowledge existed long before contemporary technological breakthroughs. Philosophically, the implications are staggering. Humanity may be only beginning to grasp the depth of its own history and intellectual heritage. AI is not merely a tool for analysis. It is a bridge to understanding knowledge deliberately encoded to withstand centuries, perhaps millennia. These findings force us to consider whether other ancient artifacts, seemingly mundane at first glance, are waiting to reveal their secrets, accessible only through the lens of advanced computation. The Rosetta Stone, long celebrated as a key to the past, is now emerging as a blueprint for understanding the sophistication, foresight, and intellectual ambition of ancient civilizations. What humanity once interpreted as a translation aid may in fact be a guide to thinking, encoding, and preserving knowledge on a scale we are only beginning to comprehend. As the AI revelations spread through the academic community, a storm of debate erupted. Scholars, historians, and linguists confronted a reality they had long resisted. The Rosetta Stone was far more than a translation tool. It was a layered, multi-dimensional record of human knowledge, carefully encoded by ancient scribes to survive the centuries. This finding challenged the foundations of archaeology, linguistics, and even historiography itself. Some traditionalists argued that AI was over-interpreting patterns, detecting significance where none existed. They cautioned against ascribing intent to what could be statistical anomalies or coincidences. Others, however, recognized that the sheer consistency of the discovered patterns across multiple papyri, hieroglyphic texts, and chronological records demanded serious consideration. These were not random occurrences. They represented an intentional system of encoding knowledge.
It was really my dream to see in a hall at the Cairo Museum, looking at the Rosetta Stone.
One point of contention involved methodology. For centuries, human scholars relied on translation and context to understand ancient texts. Now, computational analysis revealed that the surface meaning of symbols was only the beginning. Hieroglyphs and other scripts contained hidden layers of information, mathematical, astronomical, philosophical, that only machine learning could detect. The debate centered on whether this constituted valid interpretation or whether AI was reading too much into the data. The implications extended beyond Egyptology. If the Rosetta Stone, a single artifact, contains multi-dimensional knowledge, other ancient texts worldwide might do the same. Mesopotamian cuneiform, Indus Valley inscriptions, and Mesoamerican codices could be hiding equally complex systems of information, previously unreadable. Scholars realized that entire academic fields could be revolutionized by AI-driven discoveries, forcing a re-evaluation of human history and the progression of knowledge. Furthermore, the debate was not merely academic, it was philosophical. Could ancient civilizations have intentionally encoded information for future intelligences, anticipating advanced tools like AI? If so, this reframes our understanding of human foresight, cognition, and cultural ambition. These civilizations were not just documenting events, they were preserving knowledge for posterity in ways we are only beginning to understand. The discussion also raised ethical questions. Should AI continue to probe artifacts with hidden layers, potentially revealing sacred or culturally sensitive knowledge? And what responsibility do modern scholars have to interpret these findings without projecting contemporary assumptions onto ancient intentions? As the debate unfolds, one thing is clear. Archaeology, linguistics, and history are entering a new era. The Rosetta Stone is no longer a static relic. It is a living puzzle, challenging experts to rethink what they know and how they know it. Its secrets may transform not only our understanding of Egypt, but the very framework of human civilization itself. The discoveries unearthed by AI in the Rosetta Stone have implications that extend far beyond ancient Egypt. They force humanity to reconsider the nature of knowledge itself, how it is recorded, and how it survives through time. For millennia, humans have believed that ancient civilizations were linear precursors to modern thought. Now, evidence suggests that ancient societies may have been far more sophisticated, capable of encoding multidimensional knowledge in ways that only contemporary technology can fully decode. The Rosetta Stone illustrates that written language was not merely a communication tool. It was a deliberate medium for preserving complex intellectual frameworks. AI has uncovered hidden sequences revealing mathematics, astronomy, and abstract concepts interwoven with cultural and religious narratives. This demonstrates a level of intentionality, planning, and foresight previously unappreciated in Egyptian society. Such revelations compel historians to rethink the evolution of human knowledge. If a single artifact can contain layers of encoded wisdom, how much more might be hidden in other texts, artifacts, or monuments? The Rosetta Stone becomes both a key and a challenge, suggesting that human ingenuity is far older and more sophisticated than conventional scholarship has acknowledged.
And perhaps this stone that once brought about such understanding centuries ago still has the power to unite people of two great cultures.
The implications for the future are equally profound. AI as a tool for discovery is proving that technology can extend human perception and understanding into domains previously inaccessible. It allows us to see patterns, intentions, and hidden messages left by minds long gone, bridging the gap between past and present. Humanity may now possess the ability to uncover secrets deliberately left for our interpretation, reshaping our understanding of history, science, and civilization itself. Ultimately, the Rosetta Stone's hidden knowledge is a reminder that human achievement is not always linear and that civilizations of the past may have anticipated future advancements. The challenge now is to continue exploring, decoding, and respecting these ancient insights while applying their lessons to modern life. What does this mean for humanity? It means that the past is alive, layered with intelligence, and waiting for us to uncover it. Are we ready to listen? The AI discoveries in the Rosetta Stone reveal that ancient civilizations may have encoded knowledge far more advanced than we ever imagined. What was once thought to be a simple translation tool is now understood as a multidimensional record of science, philosophy, and culture. Could there be more secrets hidden in history, waiting for technology to uncover them? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more mind-blowing revelations from the past.